I'm Dickerson. I'm a partner at Small and Plevy, and we will be discussing the unique aspects of divorce in the Asian community. For women seeking divorces, the difficulty depends in part upon their age, and it depends in part upon their community. When we have older women, women in their 50s, 60s, there is an aspect of shame. There is an aspect where they don't have the language proficiency or the ability necessarily to move through the community like their daughters or their granddaughters would be able to do. They don't have the financial knowledge that their spouses may have, and they don't know necessarily how to be able to take care of themselves in those aspects of their life once they don't have the support of their spouse. There's also the fact that a number of them don't drive, haven't driven, and they have to live near buses or actually near their children to have someone who can transport them to their medical appointments, to the grocery store. With the younger children, there is the pressure of their parents and having to tell their parents that they intend to get a divorce. If the parents are of an older generation or immigrants, they don't necessarily understand the process, first of all, and they don't want to tell their friends that their children did not succeed in their marriage. Divorce in the Asian community is further complicated by language. There are so many dialects and different languages in the Asian community that it's difficult to find an interpreter who will necessarily speak the proper dialect or even the language that the clients speak in court. For older women, there are economic pressures, certainly, but there are tremendous cultural pressures. They've generally come from a generation, been raised by a generation, which divorce was not a part of. Depending upon whether they are several generations in this country or recent immigrants, their community is going to dictate how quickly or how fearfully they're going to approach an attorney to discuss divorce, because if they are recent immigrants to the country, their community is based in their language cohort. For example, if they're Korean, they will be based in part in Koreatown. That's where their social connections will be. That's where they will be shopping. That's where they will try to begin their search for an attorney. And if that's the case, these are very, very small communities in that everyone knows everybody, or there is less than 6 degrees of separation. And so they are more fearful that someone will tell their spouse that they were consulting with their attorney, or they saw them come out of a building which had an attorney's office in it. But often in the Asian community, they blame the wife, they blame the woman, or they try to find some reason, something that she's not doing, some duty that she's not meeting, because they can't conceive necessarily of a separation or divorce. But we have still certain cultural barriers. For example, women who are children who have immigrated to this country, whose parents are still very much conservative, old school. They don't want to tell their parents. They have great difficulty telling their parents. Yes, I am Korean. I think it makes women more comfortable because for them, I'm their peer or I'm their daughter, and so they can tell me those things. They can tell me about the abuse. They can tell me about the things that they would not feel comfortable telling a man, and not certainly telling a Caucasian man. There should be no reason why any woman should feel trapped. When women who are in very unhappy, often abusive relationships take this step, for them it's a step towards a more peaceful life. It's a step towards recovery. Often when they're in physically abusive relationships, the divorce process is generally accompanied by a certain amount of therapy, which helps them to begin to heal after years of this sort of relationship. When they take the first step, they shouldn't think, I'm taking the step and I have decided on divorce, because that's not what the first step is. The first step is education. They should come and talk to an attorney or speak with an attorney on the phone if they can't get to the attorney's office. The attorney can speak with them about the general circumstances and lay some groundwork, some background. And that consultation is covered by the attorney-client privilege. It's confidential. And so from that point on, the woman can start taking steps. They can start looking at what their finances are. They can start educating themselves so that when they do make the final decision to proceed with the divorce, they'll have some background. I can certainly meet with them. They can say they're going shopping and come to this retail center and come upstairs and visit, and that way they'll have an excuse, as it were, to be in this area. The other thing that they're doing is, depending upon the relationship with their children, they can have their children who are more Americanized or more fluent in the language come with them and bring them or sit with them or help explain. And I talk them through the legal aspects of the steps that they would have to take to obtain a divorce, but I also speak with them about the financial aspects, how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to allocate their resources between the two of them. Often these women have no clue as to what they own, what it's valued at, or how they're paying their expenses. Often they have no clue as to what their expenses are because their husbands usually take care of those bills. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a certain endurance to go through the process of divorce. And that divorce is not an easy process for anybody, whether they're Asian, Caucasian, African American, but with an attorney to guide you through the process, and with an appreciation that it's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be up and down. You're going to be scared, and then you're going to be happy. And at the end of the process, I find that people are glad that they made the decision, because it gives them closure and gives them a chance to start again, to create the life that they wanted to create the life that they meant to create. And also, when they have children, it gives them a chance to show their children, in essence, a problem-solving skill, that they don't have to be trapped necessarily in an unhappy or abusive marriage, that they can take steps to be financially independent, to be independent in other ways. I'm Kyung Dickerson. I'm a partner at Small & Plevy. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me at 703-790-1900 or email me at kndickerson@smallandplevy.com.